The St Mary's Trophy Part 1 with the star drivers to get underway here at Goodwood. The flag waves and we're underway as it's a good start from all three on the front row. Rob Hoff trying to get away, but Romain Dumas in the Thunderbird has got ahead. Romain Dumas using that extra horsepower that he's got in that big American machine. Jenson Button trying to go around the outside in the red machine. He's trying to go around the outside, but it doesn't quite work. He settles into third place behind Rob Huff.
Yes, Jenson was really going to try around the outside of turn one, but the Thunderbird is go. The Thunderbird has streaked ahead, but we've seen different characteristics. Our onboard car there is Karun Chandhok. He's had a very busy weekend and a very clean start to the race.
Yeah, on board with Karun. That's fun to see as you've got the battle going on. And that's a really good little... Oh, nearly goes wrong, doesn't it?
Very, very close. Side by side. Are they going to make ever so contact? They just about, but joining in, they're going to have a three-way battle for third place.
Benoit Treluyer is in that green car. He's got past Jenson Button, but also joining in the fun and games is Jimmie Johnson, the NASCAR star. So it's all going on. You're on board right now with Jenson Button and the Alpha Giulietta, this very pretty machine. And it's just not quite going for him on this opening lap, having started from the front row. And there's Benoit Treluyer going past him.
Yeah, so Jenson, he knows his experience. We don't need to roll through his history. And there, again, so getting very close round the outside.
That's Karun.
That's Karun. Where's Karun come from? He's going to brave it round Woodcote. Has he got the car stopped? He just about has. It's a little bit sideways as we're coming now in to close the opening lap.
So Karun Chandhok's got past Jenson Button now as well, as the rest of the field comes through. So far so good, it's kept pretty clean. Tiffany Dell just running through there, and the Javelin as well. Further down there's Rowan Atkinson in the number 7, Mark 7 Jaguar, back on board with Jenson Button there. So he's dropped down from the front row to 6th place. Karun Chandhok in the car ahead. He's just ahead there. They've both got the onboard cameras, so we're going to get lovely views of both of them racing against each other. And Jenson Button trying to get a little closer to the back of the standard Vanguard.
Yeah, this is going to be a great onboard. As you said, Karun in the Vanguard, he's weaving. Oh, that rear is weaving all over the place as Karun's trying to feather it through Ford water. And they come in, no gear changes for Jenson, and he sent a lot more speed than Karun into the first part of St Mary's. He uses a little bit of curb on the left-hand side. He's going to have a good run. Is he? If Karun, he changed to gear in the middle of the corner, but no, Karun's just got a little bit better pace as they head now into the back.
Yeah, and this is where you get the exit onto the straight. You've got to get a good exit. He has done well, although ironically you don't really want to be side by side with somebody just there. Now you've got to pick up the slipstream, but the Vanguard actually has a decent amount of power. It's a 2.5-litre engine, and it works pretty well in the standard. That's where we saw him overtake Jenson last lap around, and that is working down the straight. So I think Jenson Button's, the Giulietta, is not quite so powerful. It's quick through the corners, but it doesn't quite have the same power in it.
No, and I believe is that Tom Ingram behind Jenson Button, but look at the fight now, Ben, for the lead. The 1.2-second gap has closed right down.
This is interesting to me because Romain Dumas in the Ford Thunderbird, it's a big heavy car, and the brakes do take a bit of a pounding. Even though this is not a track you have to brake hard too often, but with a big heavy car like this, it can be a bit of a suffering. And I think Anthony Reid was just passed there. Yeah, so I mentioned that Tom Christensen was making up ground. He's up to at least 10th from where he started in 24th place.
Yeah, what a come through. I mean, very experienced racer, of course, 9 times Le Mans winner, is charging through the field. And then we have Colin Turkington in the beautiful BMW 700 having a nice close battle there with Marino Franchitti for 35.
That's great stuff, isn't it? Meanwhile, third place at the moment, Jimmie Johnson in that little Austin A40, the one you're looking at right now. The NASCAR multi-champion, but he's still being chased down by Benoit Treluyer. Now there's Jenson Button in the number 34 car, holding on to Karun Chandhok. Chandhok sliding around a bit more again. They're getting into the section. We know the standard Vanguard has a decent amount of pace in a straight line. Whether it'll maintain it all the way, we'll see. The Giulietta's just a 1.5-litre engine, so it's 1,000cc down on what the standard has, but of course it's lighter as well, and sometimes that can be an advantage when you get to the corners as they head down into Woodcote.
Oh, but it's getting very close. We saw slightly further up the road there That is the number 2 car, Treluyer, getting ever so sideways, battling with Jimmie Johnson in the 138.
Yeah, Treluyer almost made it through there. You're absolutely right. We can see that from the onboards. Meanwhile, Jenson Button is still right on the tail of Karun Chandhok. Karun Chandhok's bonnet is flapping.
Yeah, let's hope that stays pinned down, because otherwise his vision will be pretty much non-existent as he drives. You can see the constant corrections that are going on the wheel, and Button looks close here, Ben, coming out of the first corner, Madric's corner, but he just doesn't have quite the straight line speed down the straight compared to Karun, does he?
No, not quite. Let's see how it goes. Romain Dumas still leading. The gap over Romain was just under a second as they went over the line last time around. So it is still a good battle up front, there's no doubt about it. And this battle for third, this group is effectively fighting for third. There's the leaders, so there you are. They are still very close to one another. The Ford now going into the Levant straight where that extra power from the big engine will help. And then you've got this tiny little Austin A40, always a very successful car when it was racing in the early 1960s as well. Oh, we've got something else going loose.
Yeah, that looks like, I can't work out, is that number 26 car, is it? Yeah, that's had a little bit of issue at the rear as the Thunderbird now streaks into Goodwood corner. The gap looks a little bit bigger, I would say, compared to previous. Romain Dumas has done the fastest middle sector overall, and that is a good, actually half a second quicker. But just as I say that, heading into the final part of the chicane there, the gap's back down to, I would say, around about 7/10.
Yeah, I think that's one of the slower corners, of course. So braking later that you can do in the Jaguar Mark 1 than you can in the Ford is a big, big help. We're back on board with Karun Chandhok, and he's looking in his mirror quite a lot here to see where Jenson is.
Yeah, he's got to look in front because he's about half a second off the number 2 car, Treluyer, in front, and then he's got the job of trying to defend from Jenson Button, who seems to be better through the corners, doesn't he? The lighter car through the corners, but just doesn't quite have the pace down the straight. So we're stuck in that sandwich there, where he's got to look forward, but also keep an eye on his mirrors as well. Yeah,
it's making for fun and games. So you're on board with the car behind. So you're on board with Jenson Button now. Right up behind Karun. Oh, he's got a great run here. Oh, I'm not sure there's a chance to quite get alongside yet.
Oh, he's going to have a good go. He's foot to the floor, Jenson will be. Probably jumping forward, I expect. We'll see soon in his seat, trying to will the car on down the straight. But meanwhile, we saw a great view of the Benoit and Johnson.
Oh, Karun's lost it. I was just thinking he's a bit wide. He's just lost it. Thankfully, no contact made. You get to watch it on board as he recovers. Great recovery, 360, and he's back on track.
Yeah, like a pro.
Yeah, he's cross with himself, though. You can see that. He was cross with himself.
We've had to come away because there might be some language being thrown about in the cockpit of his car there. But that's so unfortunate. But he was being pushed really hard by Jenson. This is the replay. As you said, he did get ever so wide, looked like he might be able to save it, and then no. And I tell you what, Jenson Button did a great job. Still got those reactions, hasn't he, to just avoid the spinning Karun. We'll have a look. Oh, that was so close.
That's scary when you see how close it is, but at least he was on the outside. The car was heading in, so that was good news. And he did a fantastic job of saving it and getting back out. Let's see, where is he as he crosses the line? Chandhok has dropped down to 11th position as a result of that. Meanwhile, what's happening up front?
Yes, I think we had a change for the final podium position. Benoit's got past Jimmie Johnson, but we'll keep an eye on that battle because that was really getting quite fruity. We saw Benoit try and dive one down the inside a couple of times, and Johnson trying to fight back. As this is the battle that we're seeing now on screen. So yeah, he definitely has got through. But Jimmie Johnson taking as much curb as you possibly can, and some grass and a bit too much, but doesn't actually seem to have lost in that much time. So a good off-road car as well, clearly.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's trying to get the exit out of Levant as perfect as possible. There's a touch between them. Not ideal, is it, that they're still going? Two Austins, two different Austins. The green one is the Austin A105, a title-winning car of the British Saloon Car Championship in 1958, the sort of car that Jack Sears took that first ever trophy with. And then you've got an Austin A40, and Doc Shepherd took a title of the BTCC in 1960 with one of those. But look at how they're racing.
That's the Ford Thunderbird, is it, that slowed down?
No, that's one towards the back. That's been going a little bit slowly generally, just keeping out of the way.
thought, oh dear, we've got trouble for the lead. But back to the pictures here. Look who's joined the party. Ding dong, here comes Jenson Button. He's right up on the back of this battle now. They're slowing each other down a little bit. Just look at the timing screen. Tom Christensen has made his way past Tom Ingram. So will we soon see Christensen approaching the back? There we are, the headlights bobbing along on the bumps. I think it's going to be pretty soon before we see him join this battle, because at the moment he's lapping quicker than the cars in front.
So there you are, there is Tom Kristensen, having started from 24th position. Tom is now into 6th place, and as you say, potentially he's going to be able to actually get into this battle for a podium. Jenson Button currently lying in 5th place, 4th place for Jimmie Johnson. Benoit Treluyer is just there in 3rd at the moment, but not for long, because here comes Jimmie down the inside. He's taking the line, but then it's about the exit of the corner and getting the speed down the straight.
Yeah, Jenson's trying to get as much into the toe of the Austins as he can, and the battle continues. Look, they're just going to keep swapping places, and Tom Christensen, if I was him, I'd be thinking, yeah, you lot just carry on, because that's helping me stream up to the back. But Jenson's having a real close look here at Jimmie Johnson.
Yeah, he's their way through. Always a bit of a tricky one as you come into Woodcote to get alongside, but there are opportunities. A bit of smoke coming from Treluyer's car.
I think that was tyre smoke.
Okay.
So sideways that those tyres are producing a lot of smoke. And look, within one lap then, Kristensen is on the back of this battle. He could get a podium here.
He could, you're right, from 24th on the grid. That is Tom Kristensen, 9 times winner of Le Mans. And here he goes already down the inside, trying to get past Jenson Button. Jenson gives him space, but at the moment Jenson holds on to that 5th place, fighting for 5th, but only just ahead of them. We've got 4th and 3rd as well. Look at the bouncing around as it continues here for Tom Kristensen. The car had a front wheel just come off in qualifying. That's why he ended up so far down on the grid. Thankfully, it hadn't actually damaged the car, and this Austin A90 is going really well in the race itself.
He was having a little look there into the first part of St Mary's. What a shot of these cars, really leaning on that outer edge as they go through that first part of the corner, and then they stream out of the second part of St Mary's up the fairly steep hill into Levant corner. We have a back marker that will hopefully get out the way, but the battle continues. They're so close together.
Actually, Button got a good run through there, because the top two, Treluyer and Johnson, got so sort of tied up. Look at this, side by side. Here comes Tom Kristensen, and I think he's got some pace. On board with Karun briefly, but now back on board with Jenson. Oh my goodness, they're going through lapping cars as well. That was tight.
Wow, they'll say, no, it wasn't tight at all, plenty of room, but wow, within a lap, he's paved the way through already and into the podium position.
Yeah, that's Tom Kristensen up to 3rd place already. You're on board with Jenson Button, you can see him. Oh, and he's still battling away with Jimmie Johnson in the little number 138 Austin A40, who sneaks in between the two other cars. And Jenson Button is still at the back of this little group. Now Tom Kristensen is at the front of the group.
Wow, what a battle we are witnessing right now, and you will never, anywhere else will you see a battle like this with these incredible names of motorsport racing, great cars, but also so closely against each other with just over, believe it or not, 11 minutes left to go. Time flies when you're having fun.
It really does. Jimmie Johnson trying to get to Treluyer again. I'm going up the inside. And the onboard is lovely too, because I remember, you know, so many years of watching Jenson Button in a Formula 1 car. His steering is usually so smooth. There's never any correction. It's a very different story when he's driving these historic cars.
Yeah, it certainly is. That's the style of having to try and get them to go around the corner. As you can see, Benoit the Benoit train has continued as he gets all squirrely on the brakes going up to Levant, and this is the perfect shot we're going to have of Jenson. He's going ever so sideways, and just when you're trying to get your foot flat to the floor, but respectful racing with that.
It is, yeah, so far anyway, they've kept it clean so far. We've still got over 10 minutes to go in this race. Romain Dumas is still the race leader in the 4th Thunderbird. He has an advantage of over 2 seconds, but we're still focusing on 3rd, 4th, 5th. There is our race leader in the big Ford, chased by Rob Huff in the Jaguar Mark 1, which is still on the pace. We've got some other little battles going on. Colin Turkington fighting away here with Gordon Shedden. Isn't that fun? Great touring car drivers who've had so many hard races against each other over the years. both champions in similar years against each other, trying to fight each other for the title of British Touring Cars. And here we are, we've got Colin Turkington, that little white BMW. Meanwhile, we go back with Jenson Button again, because he's also now trying to get past Treluyer. He's got a better position this time.
Yeah, he was having a little look, and he's still continuing to do so, having a look up the inside, but he's just not. A little knock over to the right-hand side to try and squeeze Jenson, but we know that's not going to work, and I think he's going to get the position. Is he going to get the car stopped as they're coming down now into the pumps and berries? Let's have a little look. So, yeah, Benoit has lost 2 places there, Ben.
I wonder if that's partly what...
Oh, no, the car stopped.
Jenson running wide. He's gone the grass, he's trying to sort it all out. You're on board, Jenson. So our onboard cameras are with drivers who are just making the odd mistake every now and then, and having gone past both of them, he's just lost it back again.
I did wonder whether he'd be able to get the car stopped. He was on the tighter line there, trying to go down the inside. We're going to have 3 wide, Ben.
And they that was so clever, the way Treluyer just gave him room there. I thought there was going to be contact, but he got out of the way. And in fact, that the Alpha looks to me, as things are getting hotter and hotter and they're getting more and more laps in, well, I say that, but actually the Austin is coming back in a straight line. It's still got that straight line speed. I'm just not sure it's got the grip it had earlier, because Benoit's been sliding it around so much. I think those tyres have gone off a bit, look.
See the smoke, but look, we've got the 2 drivers here of Jenson Button. Oh, Benoit's gone slightly wider, and just saying Jimmie Johnson going side by side through Woodcote, which is a rare sight. But yeah, as you said, Benoit has really used those tyres, smoking themselves, hopefully not to pieces, but they're really starting to wear down as he's just put to the floor. Had the benefit of the straight line speed. Jenson's having a look. Keep it clean, boys. Do they? Look at these beautiful shots for riding back on board with Jenson.
That was such great control once again. They're all having great fun here. Jimmie Johnson in the little Austin A40, the Americans NASCAR superstar. What a different car. You could not drive a different saloon car to a NASCAR, could you? The little Austin A40, and yet look, he's just got back past Jenson Button.
I tell you what, you can't pick who's going to take this this 4th place. This battle is for 4th place now. It's certainly got back marker just getting out of the way. That's Alex Brundle,
yeah.
the Saab, doing a great job of letting this battle continue. But the production team got a tough job with the onboard camera there. We don't know whether to look forward or look backwards.
I know, there's so much going on. It's great fun, and it really is. Jenson Button battling with Jimmie Johnson. When you think that Jenson's actually been doing some NASCAR this year, NASCAR racing. He drove a NASCAR car at Le Mans this year, raced it at Le Mans, and he's up against Jimmie Johnson, who's one of the great NASCAR champions in the United States, and there are 2 such very different cars here, and here comes Jenson again trying to get past him.
Yeah, he's having a look. He's keeping it nice and clean. He's very close to the rear of Jimmie's car. Going down into Woodcote, and they'll go into the chicane. Jimmie getting a little bit out of shape on entry, but he actually did a good job to get it tidy for the second part. But we looks like Benoit has probably used up all his tyres now.
So we just saw Christensen. He's in a pretty comfortable 3rd place. Meanwhile, by the way, Romain Dumas has opened up the lead to 3.4 seconds. I don't think the Ford Thunderbird is dropping off. I thought it might in the high temperatures with the big heavy car. But at the moment, this car is still in 2nd place. That's Rob Huff. Lovely shot of it. He's still sliding it in a very good style. It's not over-sliding, but he hasn't quite got the pace of that Ford Thunderbird. This is a circuit that suits big engine machines. There's no doubt it's fast. There are not too many slow corners, and the Ford Thunderbird is making the most of it. So I tell you what, at the moment, Romain Dumas is on target for his hat-trick in the St Mary's.
He is. He got the great start off the line, didn't he? As you can see, just drifting it fully sideways round Woodcote corner. A big, heavy machine, and very powerful in a straight line with that 7-litre engine underneath the bonnet, as he's making use of all the available road on the exit of the chicane. He's got a little bit of traffic, and when it steams past our commentary box window, you can always tell by the sound which car is going past. But meanwhile, this battle here is still raging between Jenson Button and Jimmie Johnson.
Yeah, he's got a chance again, and this time it looks as though Jenson is going to be back up in front as they come into Woodcote corner. Nicely lined up. The little Austin A40 didn't have quite the same pace there. Dust being kicked up by somebody running a bit wide. Nice through the chicane as well. composed and controlled from Jenson Button. That's the sort of thing we expect to see, but Tom Christensen is still pulling away from them. But Tom is a long, long way from Rob Huff and Romain Dumas. There's a massive gap between the top two and then the rest of the group. But don't forget, Tom Christensen came from 24th place to get up to 3rd to fight against these guys. He's got the pace, but he isn't going to be able to catch the leaders now.
No, he isn't. And actually, Jenson Button, even though battling there, just set a personal best lap time. And there is Karun that had that unfortunate spin. He's still down in 11th place. So he's not been able to make any moves. But Jimmie Johnson's had enough of looking at the rear of Jenson Button's car. They're going to go, no, they are. They, yes, side by side through St Mary's.
Yeah, lovely. They've got such regard for each other, but they're going to race as hard as they can, no doubt. Meanwhile, further back, we were watching the Turkington-Shedden battle. That's still going on. I can tell you that's still incredibly close between Colin Turkington and Gordon Shedden in another of the Austin A40s, like the car that Jimmie Johnson's driving, number 138. So that's still going on. At the moment, Colin Turkington is in 8th place, Shedden is in 9th, and we've got Marino Franchitti holding on to 10th, as you say, and staying ahead of Karun Chandhok, who is down in 11th place. Hasn't managed to jump back up from that point as yet. As we go back on board with this lovely views, we've got various onboard cameras with Jenson giving us a great angle. This is looking back, of course, at Jimmie Johnson as they come down into the chicane. This is where you don't want to hit those curves too much. You sometimes see them touched, and sometimes you see them hit quite hard.
Yeah. No, we don't want to see any of that as Jenson streaks down the straight now in his Alfa. Jimmie Johnson closely behind in the Austin A40. So he's still dancing, still battling behind that wheel. Constant corrections going on, a slight variation of line there as well. As Jenson, we've got the number 26 of Mark Blundell pulling off.
Again. In the same place he did in practice, yeah.
Well, hopefully they've still kept the chair out there for him that he was sat in yesterday.
He's not having much luck this weekend with that car for whatever reason. At least he got a few more laps in this time because it failed out on him very early yesterday. Meanwhile, we're still watching this wonderful show between Jenson Button and Jimmie Johnson, who are thoroughly enjoying themselves. And there's the other one I was talking about, Colin Turkington versus Gordon Shedden. This is remarkable, this little tiny BMW with its 700cc flat twin engine based on a motorbike engine that BMW put into the back of that little car, a time where rear engine cars really weren't around. This is from 1959, and it's up against the Austin A40, which was a brilliant Austin that went into racing as well, but was so many people's road car. It was convenient, it was almost like a little hatchback car that suited so many families, but it's also a great racer.
No, it certainly is, and a great battle, and I'm sure they're keeping it clean as again, this battle. And Jimmie Johnson's just run slightly wide. Can he recover it? Yes, he does. That's on the exit of Woodcote as they feed through the chicane. But just having a little look at the timing screen, Ben, we've seen it in previous races that traffic can play a big part here. The gap now for the lead has come down to 1.5 seconds, so Romain Dumas has clearly had some traffic somewhere along the line, because it was up, I'm sure it was up to around about 3 seconds at one point. So the gap's come down, so we'll keep a close eye on that, on our timing screens, as we continue to watch this battle that we've been watching for a majority of the race. So there we go. There's the leaders on your screen, and Rob Huff losing around about 0.4 of a second compared to Dumas in the first sector, and it doesn't look like there's too much traffic further up the road, as they are quite far ahead now, coming into the final part of the lap.
Colin Turkington still fending off Gordon Shedden for the moment, but as you say, we are getting into the very closing stages of this race, so it still could change. I think these two are both loving what they're doing, and they've driven many touring cars over the year, but I wonder if they've raced something quite like this in the past. It seems like Colin can brake very late with the BMW, but this time Gordon's as close as ever. Has he got a bit more straight line speed as they go on to the long La Manche straight? No, I'll tell you what, that little engine BMW is surprisingly fast in a straight line, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. And actually, even though these two are battling away, they are closing up to the back soon, I would say, of Tom Ingram. He's a little bit further there up the road, the current BTCC champion, so fellow touring car racer. So maybe Colin will then have a little bit of what Karun had to deal with, is looking ahead at a battle, but also keeping an eye on his mirrors behind.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There, as you say, is Tom Ingram. So Tom Ingram and Colin Turkington race regularly together in current British touring cars. Tom, as you would say, the reigning champion, and Colin a multiple champion, and Gordon a multiple champion behind as well. So what a great competition this is to see between them. But they are still all having to follow Benoit Treluyer, who's kept that number 2 Austin going at an impressive pace. The number 39 car of Tom Ingram is an Australian Austin, actually. It's quite rare to see that in the UK, this Lancer version. Meanwhile, it's still Jenson Button versus Jimmie Johnson. It's not for a podium position, unfortunately. It would have been fun if this was still for third, but Tom Christensen's definitely gained that. Yeah,
he has, as he's having a little look, but this is the race leader coming to collect the checker flag.
And Romain Dumas comes across the line to win St Mary's Trophy Part 1. And that is a hat-trick of victories in this category here at Goodwood in 3 years. And that Ford Thunderbird won 2 years ago with him, and it's taken victory again. Well done to Romain Dumas. Second place to Rob Huff. Third place going to Tom Christensen, but fourth place is still up for grabs.
Yeah, who's it going to be? Jenson Button has got the upper hand at the moment. They're coming into Woodcote Corner. I don't think Jimmie Johnson's close enough to fire one down the inside of the chicane. There's Tom Christensen coming through, getting it all sideways, just giving a little bit of showing off as he comes up to come from the back of the field all the way up to a podium. So fantastic job. And who is it going to be? It's Jenson Button that finishes that fantastic battle in fourth place.
Yeah, he finished in fourth by 0.288 of a second, the gap between himself and Jimmie Johnson. And what an entertaining time that was. And behind them, Treluyer got sixth. Turkington still managed to just hang on with the little BMW. In seventh, ahead of Gordon Shedden in eighth. Tom Ingram dropped a little bit in ninth place. Marino Franchitti ended up in 10th. And Karun Chandhok in 11th place. Well.